I was debating what to present today, and I was lucky enough to have done a PowerPoint party with some friends about a year ago, and I'm rehashing this, but updated for the Bay Area. We're going to talk about identifying different types of trains and railroads. Just to establish some clout, I'm a trains kid. I've been a trains kid forever. This is me at the Grand Canyon. This is me at the Baltimore Railroad Museum. This is me trespassing in rural New Hampshire. But let's get into some basics. So steam trains have a standard wheel notation. There's leading wheels, which are free wheels ahead of the driving wheels. There's driving wheels, and then there's trailing wheels. This is a good diagram. Driving wheels are the powered ones. Trailing wheels and leading wheels provide stability. So this is an 044, this is an 060. You might recognize an 060. This is Thomas' tank engine. He's an 060 tank engine. This is a Southern Pacific GS class 484. This is one of the larger production steam locomotives that ran in the States, especially in California. And then we also have diesel locomotives, which are more popular nowadays. These have sets of 2, 3, and 4 axle trucks. And then they usually use some kind of onboard generator to power these traction motors. These are usually some kind of diesel-electric configuration as opposed to direct diesel power drive. This is the Union Pacific EMD DDA-40X, which is the largest diesel locomotive that's run in the States. And this is a more standard GP9 for scale. This is a quick diagram of how everything works. These are some models you might see nowadays. This is a Dash 9 or a GE C44 9W. This was produced in the mid-1990s. And this is its successor, the Evolution series, commonly known as GEVOs. These came around in the mid-2000s. And the way that you can tell the difference between these two is specifically looking at these exhaust stacks here. There's a difference in the concavity back here. Aside from that, they look very similar. Let's talk a little bit about something that's maybe more relevant, which is the passenger railroads in California. Amtrak operates intercity and cross-country routes across the entire states, and then there's a bunch of regional and intercity railroads. Down here we have the Lausanne corridor, which has things like Metrolink, it has the Pacific Surfliner, it has the San Diego Coaster, and then as we get further north, some railroads that you guys might have seen. There's the Amtrak San Joaquins, which can get you from Bakersfield to Fresno to Stockton to Sacramento and San Francisco. There's the Capital Corridor, which can take you all the way from the city to Sacramento. And then there's commuter railroads like Caltrain, which is San Francisco to San Jose. The Altamont Corridor Express, which can take you into the valley, which is also operated by the San Joaquin Regional Rail Commission. And what's cool about a lot of these is that they're partnerships between Amtrak and Caltrans. I built this originally for San Diego. This is the standard model of locomotive that's run in San Diego. It's the EMD F59PHI. It's a modified F59PH, which was originally ordered for Toronto's GO Transit, but they added this like streamlined cab. They sold a bunch of them to Chicago at one point, but they kept the paint scheme, so it's always very dissonant to see the Chicago Transit Authority logo on a California train. There's also the more modern SC44 Charger, which is the most modern passenger engine in the US. They began making these in 2016. You see these everywhere nowadays, including on the Capital Corridor. This is, both of these I think are in Oakland and Emeryville. Capital Corridor and the San Joaquins both use these Chargers as well as these F59PHI locomotives. And then if you're really lucky, you'll see some like different equipment. This is a Dash 9. Amtrak California has like 2 of these, and when things go really wrong, they'll put these out. And then this is the list of railroads in the US that run Chargers of different models. This includes Brightline, Metro North, MARC. Siemens kind of dominates the locomotive market at this point. This is some pictures done on routes. You might recognize the Altamont Corridor Express, which is 2 hours south of us. And now let's talk about Caltrain and BART. So there's a manufacturer called Rohr that made the original wave of BART engines. There's the A car, which is the one that has this nose cab on it, and then there's the B car, which is the middle section. And originally, BART made a mistake and they ordered too many cab cars, so they couldn't run trains the length that they wanted to, so they ordered the C series, which is, it was actually made by a different company, funnily enough. Rohr made the A and B, Alstom made the C. But the C series solved this problem by having a door in the front, so it could be a cab car and a middle section car. More recently, they brought out the Fleet of the Future. These were manufactured by Bombardier and Alstom, and they've I think, put in over 1,000 into service now, and they completely replaced the fleet about 2 years ago. Now all of BART is E&D series cars. At peak running hours, there's about 400 cars running on the system at any given moment. Caltrain also uses this F59PH that I mentioned earlier. This was like one of the most popular passenger locomotives in the entire country. They made hundreds of them. Caltrain was one of the last operators of them. Caltrain actually acquired their right-of-way from Southern Pacific. So you'll recognize these coaches were originally ran by these much older freight locomotives from Southern Pacific. You can actually see they used these cars for a really long time, but they repainted them. I think they were in service for almost 40 years. You might also recognize the Baby Bullet, which is an MPI 36. MPI stands for Motive Power Inc. They use these Bombardier bi-level coaches that are very popular in California, and this project shaved 30 minutes off of the time from the top to the bottom of the peninsula. And then finally, we have the Stadler KISS, or the Stadler KISS. What was interesting about this is it doesn't meet American crashworthiness standards, it only meets European crashworthiness standards, so Caltrain actually got a waiver for this. But they had an incredible turnover. The entirety of the system was turned over from diesels to electric in less than a month back in the fall of 2024. They still use the Baby Bullet trains between Gilroy and San Jose. And then as a little Easter egg, we have the Toaster, which is an AEM 7. It's a Swedish design, actually, that Amtrak purchased in the 70s. They ran these on the Northeast Corridor for decades. They only finally phased them out about a decade ago, but Caltrain bought 2 of them and repainted them to test their electrification. I think that's the last slide I have about the Bay Area. If anybody wants to see the San Diego slides, let me know. But yeah.